I want to live at the beach so bad. Like, that's my dream.
Are we like helping sea turtle eggs hatch and make it back to the water? Like, what do you think for activities?
I don't know. Like beach walks probably.
Hey, I'm Candice, and you're listening to Talk to Me, the limited series on the Joy FM podcast. In today's episode, we get to talk to Ann Wilson. It was a really fun conversation where we not only dove into some of her passions, the things that she's looking forward to and excited about, also a couple beauty tips thrown in there, which let me just tell you, if you've seen Ann in person, you're going to want those tips. So enjoy this conversation with Ann Wilson. Hey, I'm here with Ann Wilson, and I'm so excited because not only did I get to see you in concert in Sarasota, probably in the fall, I think?
Yeah.
Last year?
So, yeah.
Anyway, it was such a blast. You bring such an amazing performance that I'm just so curious. You just told me that you're going to be writing, or you're in the process of writing a book. You have a book that came out 2 years ago, My Jesus. Tell me about that process of like spreading your creativity into different worlds like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of manage both, like between writing books and songs and everything else that goes on as being an artist. But I really enjoy it. It kind of separates my attention a little bit from the two. Like, I can focus on songwriting and then I can go focus on writing a book, and it's two different things. So it helps me sometimes mentally, like being able to focus on things. So.
Yeah. And you've been breaking into the country world as well. So there's all sorts of different audiences. And what is that experience like? I've seen you, run around Times Square. I mean, so many huge moments lately. What is your highest high of these last couple months?
Oh my gosh. It would be hard to pick one. The Today Show, probably, on the album release day, was really special. However, I had laryngitis and it was really bad. A lot of moments of going like, why God? Like, out of all the weekends, why album release weekend? I got sick. I had to cancel a ton of shows. But I lost my voice and I was fighting to sing. Like, I couldn't sing on the Today Show, and I was like trying to push through it. But it was just a lot of beautiful moments of me realizing like that the highest highs are not being on stages or platforms or the Today Show, but that it's the most important thing of what I do is that it's for Jesus and his glory. And I think like all that came into perspective the weekend of the album release. And that was like one of those moments that I'm like, okay, I'm reminded of why I do what I do again. So
that is so huge. And sometimes I feel like that, the enemy uses those things in our life that all of a sudden, that's completely out of your control, but it just tanks everything. And to feel helpless in those moments, the enemy intends it for, to bring you down, but to find God and hold on to him in those. Yeah. I mean, that'll grow you. Yeah. Everything that he brings against us, we can use to grow closer to God.
Yeah.
So are there different areas in your life where you've seen that to be true?
Yeah, I definitely, I think just with everyday life, it's like the enemy will come with something, and the Lord is bigger and better, obviously. And he always uses it for good for me, in different situations throughout life. So I think there's so much beauty in like just surrendering your life to God and going, okay, like even in the hard moments, even in these moments where I feel like I'm being like attacked by the enemy, I'm going to point it back to you for your glory. And I think there's just been a lot of those moments. So
it's so wild too, because like saying it is one thing, walking it out is another. And I have even struggled in those moments where I'm plagued by something. There's something that's, kind of weighing me down. And it's not until days into it where I go, oh, maybe I should pray about this, and like the way that we try to solve things on our own before going to God, sometimes we need that like big jolting moment.
That's so true. Yeah, I agree.
It's so crazy. Okay, so talk to me about the cross.
Yeah.
I mean, the cross of Jesus, of course, but your new single too, your new song.
Oh my gosh, this song is so special to me. I wrote it 2 years ago, and didn't think it was going to make the album, was so heartbroken. I vividly remember I wrote the song with Jonathan Smith, Jeff Pardo, and Matthew West, and we were like weeping. Like these grown men were like weeping that day. Like it was like that's like we could feel like the presence of the Holy Spirit so much in that room. And then just with all the things that happened with like labels and management and all the opinions, we decided we were going to put it on the album. And I just had this moment of realizing, like right before the album, we finally just turned it in. I was like, this song, we have to put this on the album. And we wanted a feature on it. And so we reached out to Chris Tomlin, and he was like willing to be on it, which I still can't even fathom that, because I grew up listening to his music my entire life and love him so much. And so he came on the song to be part of it. And I think the song is a reminder of what Jesus did on the cross. And I think we obviously know that as Christians, and we talk about it a lot, but it felt like the song has a special way of putting it. The third verse is my favorite. It says, he let the blood and water flow and did it all to let you know that you're the reason that he went to the cross. And lyrics like that, moments like that, of just like reminding yourself that he did it for you. He didn't just do it for the world, but he died for each of us individually. And like, that's how much he loves us. And so it's a little bit more worshipful than any other song I've put out in a while. Has more of a worship feel to it. Like you could hear it being, sung at churches and stuff. So I'm excited about it.
It's so cool. And it is a little bit of a turn in the songs that we've heard from you lately, with Rebel, with Strong, and it's just this like power ballad, so emphatic. So I'm really excited. I'm excited for that to have the impact.
Yeah, me too.
So when we first met, I also met your parents.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that they're like on tour with you. They're supporting you. They're like right there with you through all of that. Can you tell me a little bit about, okay, my parents are also very involved. And sometimes you go like, yes, they're right there when I need it. And sometimes you're going like, give me a little breathing space. How has that tension been with having very involved parents?
I will say I was worried about it in the beginning, but my parents, I've never even had to have a conversation with them about it. Like they know when to walk away. And I'm so thankful for that, because sometimes when parents get involved, I never wanted them involved in management or anything like that, because I wanted to see my mom as my mom, not my manager or something else. But one thing I love about my parents is that like when moments are stressful or when things happen and I just need some space, they just know when to walk away, and they just know when like to give me my space, which has been a gift. And obviously there's moments where we, don't get along, or whatever. But overall, like having my parents at such a young age has been such a blessing.
Yeah. So. Oh, that's so huge. So our next segment is called the Disco Ball of Fun. Disco Ball of Fun. We have all sorts of random questions in here. Some fun, some a little bit more serious. But one extra that you have is the Uno reverse card. So if there's ever a question you pull that you're like, I don't want to answer it, but you have to, I'm on the hot seat.
Okay.
So you can use it if you want to. No pressure. You don't have to. But I will have you draw your first card.
What's a day in your retired life look like?
Okay, so that is years down the road.
Years down the road, but I know
about
it. Beach, I want to live at the beach so bad. Like that's my dream. Living at the beach with hopefully a husband and kids, and just like, or maybe grandkids. Well, probably grandkids.
I was gonna say your kids will be long gone by then.
Probably grandkids, just like soaking up like life and all of its beauty. So
I'm telling you, listen, coming from where we are in Florida, that is the dream that many people are living.
I know.
Is it like do you have word games in your future? Do you have crocheting? Is it just beach walks? Are we like helping sea turtle eggs hatch and make it back to the water? Like, what do you think for activities?
I don't know. Like beach walks, probably. Just like, I don't know. Just, I love the beach. And I think just my career starting at such a young age, the older I get and the harder you work, I feel like in life, the more you appreciate like moments of like rest or time with your family. And especially with my brother passing away, like my perspective on all of it is so, I feel like different maybe than the average person. So just excited for like days of, just chilling and rest for sure. So
I'm telling you,
beach walks.
I'm telling you, I love watching the lives of people that are retired, because it's like, they're doing exactly what they want, and this is what has been chosen, and I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
All right, let's grab another one.
Okay, what job would you have if you weren't in music? Oh, easy. Astronaut. Work for NASA.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, I mean, if I made it and do like the program,
Of course.
you know, which I don't know if I would, but I wanted to be an astronaut.
Okay, so tell me about what would be the most exciting part of being an astronaut?
Going to space, because not all of them get to go. Only a very few amount get to go to space. So I would really hope to be one that would get to make it up there.
Have you ever like been on one of those G-force spinners? Like, don't you have to go through some serious physical
You have to
testing
go
too?
through a lot of training, but you have to be between a certain height, and you have to have 20/20 vision. And I'm short. I'm only 5 feet, so you have to be between like 4'10" and something else. And then I also have 20/20 vision. So technically, physically, I could make the cut.
You're there.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? You have a lengthy career ahead of you. You never know.
I
It could
know.
happen.
Never know. Okay, what is God showing you? That is so sweet. You know, recently I feel like he's showing me a lot about obedience, and how I feel like in the church, growing up in Christian culture, you hear a lot about like obeying God, but what it means to actually obey him day in and day out, like listening for his voice when he speaks something like, hey, I need you to obey me. And recently has been, just kind of stripping things away from my life, people, relationships, comfort things, and just been like showing me like, okay, like this person is not in your life anymore for this reason, and you either are going to obey what I'm leading you to or not. And so like sometimes, you know, your walk with the Lord can be really beautiful and happy, but then other times it's like, oh, he is the God of the universe, and he expects us to obey what he's calling us to do. And when we do that, there's a ton of blessing on the other side of it. So like walking in obedience has been something that he's really been showing me recently, which has been hard, but at the same time, like really life-giving, like when it's all been said and done. So
in those hard moments where you're going, I don't understand, I don't agree, I don't want to, what does that look like for you? I mean, are we crying out? What is it
crying
look like
out
for you?
and but then reminding myself like, okay, I'm not God. Like he has a greater plan. If he thinks that this situation is going to harm me or is not for my best, then surely he has something better. You know, that's just kind of what I've been reminding myself.
So short-lived crying out.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he knows.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cute. All right.
Okay. What's the most underrated place you've traveled to? So does that mean like underrated, like you didn't think it was cool, but it was cool?
Right. I'll share mine. Okay. So Fargo, North Dakota. Heard of it? Very few
No.
people have. Right. Exactly. It's like the biggest city in North Dakota, but it's still a very small city. And I went because my brother went to school there, and it was this magic little dream, like perfect Americana kind of. I mean, we went to a football game, and before the football game, I had moms bringing me hamburgers that I've never met before, and like people just taking care of you, and strangers literally driving to like get us tickets to the game, and like all these different things where it was like truly people just caring about each other.
That's so sweet.
Right? And I was like, who would have guessed? But then I
so
was like, let's go back to Fargo.
Yeah.
Right? So
Underrated.
but fun. Or
Yeah.
good in some way.
I will say there was a town outside of St. Louis called, oh gosh, I can't remember. I feel like right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. I can't remember the town, but it was like the cutest town I've ever been to. Like cobblestone streets, like very historic, but like nobody really talked about it. I was just like, I'm going to go get lunch at this little town. I was on tour, and I like walked down the street, and it was just the cutest place ever. But I can't remember. I think it was like St. Joseph's. Does that sound right?
That sounds like a city.
Okay. outside of St. Louis. We'll go
That's awesome. No, I love that. That's so great. All right, last one.
Okay. How have you been influenced? What have you bought? Oh, like
Instagram
Instagram.
or TikTok or whatever. Somebody said you
so
need
many
this. It's going to fix your life.
So many things. A lot of mine is skincare and makeup.
Yes.
Like, you know those like headbands, like those bubble headbands?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
to like put up to
yeah,
wash
I've
your
done
face
those.
and stuff.
I've gotten all the skincare. This one girl named Emily Kaiser, I think is how you say her last name. She like posts so many things about like skincare. I've gotten all of that stuff, tried it all. It's hard.
Okay, but
Isn't
what's
it so
the thing
hard?
that's worked?
Okay, there is this oil for your face. I recommend everybody uses it. It's literally changed my skin. It's called RMS.
Okay.
It's the skincare brand. It's like organic and healthy. And I normally don't use healthy stuff on my face because it doesn't work. But this stuff literally has changed my skin completely. Stopped breaking out. It's just completely changed my skin.
Okay.
It's called RMS oil.
Literally sold.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's not super expensive. It's like a good price too, which is great. So
Oh
yeah,
my word.
you'll have to try it.
That's amazing. No, literally the things that pop up on my Instagram and I'm just like, how do they know? How do they know that's exactly what I want to know about?
Yeah.
RMS oil. Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to do that. And thank you so much for sitting down with me. Absolute blast.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
Thanks so much for listening to Talk to Me on the Joy FM podcast. Make sure you share your favorite episode with a friend. And if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.